Chapter 3.0, solve the equation using zero product property. Zero product property, if A times B equals 0, it means the multiplication of two expression equals 0, then either one of them, so either A is 0 or B has to be 0. In this case, this is the two, these are the two expressions. So this is A, this is B. So their multiplication equals 0. So it means that either x plus 4, 0 or x minus 9 equals 0. You're going to solve for x. So subtract 4 on both sides. You're going to get x equals negative 4. And on the other hand, you add 9 on both sides. You're going to get x equals 9. So you're going to be either having x equals negative 4 to make the whole expression 0. So it makes sense. So if you plug it in here, negative 4. So negative 4 plus 4 would be 0. And 0 times this expression would be 0. So either x should be negative 4 or x should be 9. Because if you put 9 here, so 9 minus 9, 0. So 0 times this expression would be 0. So in order to have this whole expression equal 0, you should have either x equals negative 4 or x equals 9. For number 2, there are two expressions, a and a minus 2. So to have a times a minus 2 equals 0, so you want to either have a 0 or a minus 2 equals 0. So you're going to have either a equals 0 or a equals 2. So in other words, if you want to make this expression equals 0, you should either have a 0 or a equals to 2. For number 3, in order to have these two expression equals 0, you're going to have either this expression 0 or 4q plus 1 equals 0. And now you're going to solve for q. So 2q equals 5, and in this one 4q equals negative 1. Now you're going to divide with 2 and q equals 5 over 2, or when you divide here with 4, q equals negative 1 over 4. For number 4, either w plus 6 equals 0 or w plus 11 equals 0. And you're going to solve for w. So it's going to be w equals negative 6 or w equals negative 11. For number 5, either a equals 0 or 5a minus 12 equals 0. So this one a is already solved, so this equals 0. For the other one, you have to add 12 on both sides, and then you're going to divide with 5 on both sides to get the a value. So a is 12 over 5. So either a should be 0 or a should be 12 over 5 in order to make this expression equals 0. For number 6, you're going to place the two expression equals 0 one by one and solve for b. So plus 3 on both sides, 2b equals 3. Divide with 2, you're going to get b equals 3 over 2 or b equals negative 9. So for the zero product property, first of all, you need to know that the expression on this side should be in a factor form, and then you're going to set them equal 0 one by one to get the variable by itself. Next topic is solving by factoring a equals 1. So we cannot apply the zero product property here because they are not in the factor form. So which means that we are going to factor them first and then apply the zero product property. So these are the equations that are given in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a equals 1. So to solve these, I'm going to use cross and a box method. So the cross and box method is that letter A times C on the top, which is a product, and sum, that is B on the bottom. And these are the two numbers that you're going to find whose product should be AC and whose sum should be B. For number 7, I'm going to make a cross. So since A is 1, so A times 30 would be just 30. So it's just the last number. And on the bottom, I have a middle number. So I'm looking for two numbers that goes here and here. When I multiply these two numbers, I should get 30, and when I add or subtract them, I should get negative 17. So the two numbers that when I multiply, I get 30, and I add them to get negative 17 is negative 15 and negative 2. Again, we're looking for the number that we multiply or product goes on the top for them and sum goes on the bottom. So when I multiply, I got product on the top. When I add them, I get sum on the bottom. And the two numbers are x minus 15 and x minus 2. Now they are in a factor form, and I can find the x value using zero product property. So you're going to put them equals 0 1 by 1. So x minus 15 equals 0, or x minus 2 equals 0. So either x should be 15 or x should be equals 2. The next question, number 8, we can compare it with a square minus b square. So this is a difference of squares. So difference of a square formula is a minus b times a plus b. So x square minus 81, we can write it as x square minus 9 square. Remember, 81 is a 9 square. So you're going to write x minus 9 times x plus 9. Now these are in a factor form, and we can apply the zero product property to solve for x. So for zero product property, you have the factor form already, which we just found, and then you're going to put them equal 0 1 by 1 and then solve for x. So in this case, you're going to get x equals 9 or x equals negative 9. Remember, use the opposite operation to solve for x. So which means that add 9 on both sides here and subtract 9 on both sides here. For number 9, so the cross is means that the product negative 10 goes on the top and the middle number 3 goes on the bottom. So we need two numbers. When we multiply, we got the top number. When we add, we get the bottom number. So product should be on the top and sum, that is middle number, should be on the bottom. We're looking for two numbers here. When we multiply, we get negative 10, and we add them, we get 3. And the two numbers are 5 and negative 2, because when we multiply 5 and negative 2, we get negative 10, and 5 minus 2 is 3. And then the factors are 5 plus x plus 5 and x minus 2. Now we can apply the zero product property, which means we can put them equals 0 1 by 1 and solve for x. So for that, x is going to be negative 5 and x equals 2. For number 10, the last number goes on the top as a product, the middle number goes on the bottom. You're looking for two numbers that multiply to get 12 and add to get 7. So those two numbers are 4 and 3. So you're going to have x plus 4 and x plus 3 equals 0. Use zero product property and solve for x. That's going to be x equals negative 4 and x equals negative 3. For number 11, the top number will be negative 24 and the bottom is the middle number, that is negative 5. You're looking for two numbers. When we multiply, we get negative 24, and when we add them, we get negative 5. The two numbers we are looking for are negative 8 and 3, because when you multiply negative 8 and 3 you get negative 24, and when you add them you get negative 5. So the factors are going to be x minus 8, x plus 3 equals 0. Now to solve for x, you're going to plug them equals 0 one by one and solve for x. So x equals 8 and x equals negative 3 would be your answer. For number 12, we are going to apply the a square minus b square equals a minus b times a plus b, and you're going to rewrite the equation as x square minus 4 square, that is going to be x minus 4 times x plus 4. Now you're going to use the zero product property. So set them equals 0 one by one and solve for x. So you're going to have x equals 4 and x equals negative 4 as your answer. For this section, we are going to solve the equation and factor the equation when a is greater than 1. So once it's greater than 1, then we are going to write on the top not just the last number, but multiplication of the first and the last number. So the multiplication, or on the top number, would be negative 6. On the bottom is the middle number, that is 5. Now we are looking for two numbers here. When we multiply, we get negative 6, and when we add them, we get 5. So the two numbers are 6, negative 1. Now in the previous section, we just write x plus 6 and x minus 6 equals 0, and we are done. Now we are going to fill this box right here. So we're going to fill these 4 boxes. So you see this gray boxes, that we're going to use a number from the original equation. So the first number goes in the first place here, and then the last number goes here. And these two boxes are going to be filled with the number that you just found. So let's do that. From the equation, the first equation is this 3x squared, and then the last number is negative 2. The other two places will be filled in any order, 6x minus 1x. Now look at the first row. So in this one, you're going to find the GCF, or the greatest common factor, for the first row. So this is 3x squared, this is 6x. So the greatest common factor is going to be 3x. So remember, 3x divides this number as well as this number. Now on the top, you're going to choose a number. When you multiply these two, you get 3x squared. That number should be x. So when you multiply 3x times x would be 3x squared. Now you're going to choose this number so that when you multiply with the 3x, you get 6x. And that number should be 2. Now look at the bottom row right here. You're going to now choose a number that you multiply with x to get negative 1x, and when you multiply with 2 to get negative 2, and that number should be negative 1. So see that here. So negative 1 times x would be negative 1x, and negative 1 times 2 would be negative 2. Now write the top number as one factor, so x plus 2, and on the side one as another factor, that is 3x minus 1 equals 0. Now you're going to set them equals 0 as before to find the x value. So this is going to be negative 2 and plus 1 on both sides, 3x equals 1, and divide with 3 on both sides, x equals 1 over 3. So x equals negative 2, or x equals 1 over 3. For number 14, we made a cross, and the top number should be the product and bottom number should be the addition. So the bottom number should be 11 and top number is 2 times 5, that is 10. Now we are looking for two numbers. When we multiply we get 10 and when we add them we get 11. So the two numbers are 10 times 1. Now we are going to make a box. Now in the first box you're going to write the first equation, and on the last one you're going to write the last one. And the other two boxes would be filled with the numbers that you just found, that is 10x plus 1x. The GCF of this row is going to be 2x. So it's going to be 2x, and then you're going to look for the number that you multiply with the 2x to get 2x squared, and that number going to be x. Now you're going to look for this number that when you multiply it with 2x is going to give you 10x. So that number is going to be 5. So x times 2x would be 2x squared, x times 2 would be 10x. And this one should be 1, so that when you multiply the 1 times x would be 1x, 1 times 5 would be 5. Now the top numbers will be in one factor and then the side number will be another factor. So it's going to be x plus 5 times 2x plus 1 equals 0. You're going to set them equal 0 one by one and you're going to solve for x. So here we're going to get x equals negative 5 minus 1 on both sides, 2x equals negative 1, and x would be equals negative 1 over 2. So x equals negative 1 over 2 and x equals negative 5. For number 15, you're going to make a cross. On the top you get multiplication, so it's 3 times negative 11, that is negative 33. On the bottom you get the middle one, so it's going to be negative 8. Two numbers that multiply to be negative 33 and add or subtract to be negative 8 are negative 11 and 3. So now you're going to fill the box. So on this one you're going to write the first number, and on the last one you're going to write negative 11. These two boxes would be filled with the number that you just found. So that's 3x and negative 11x. The GCF of the first row is going to be 3x and GCF of the last row is going to be negative 11. So 3 times x would be 3x squared, 3x times 1 would be 3x, negative 11 times x would be negative 11x, and negative 11 times 1 would be negative 11. Write the top one into one factor, side one into another factor. Set them equals 0 one by one and solve for x value. For number 16, you make a cross again, and on the top you write the multiplication. So 4 times 3 would be on the top and 7 on the bottom. You're looking for two numbers. When you add them you get 7, and when you multiply them you get 12. Now you're going to find the two numbers 4 and 3. Make a box, and on these two sections you're going to write the first and the last number. So first number goes here, last goes here, and these to be filled with the number that you just found. So 4x and 3x in any order. The top one has a GCF 4x, so outside. You're going to find the number that when you multiply these two get 4x squared, and when you multiply these two you get 4x. When you multiply these two you get 3x, and when you multiply these two you get 3. The top number one goes as a one bracket and the side one into other factor. Set them equal 0 one by one, and then the answer for the first one, x equals negative 1, and answer for the second one would be x equals negative 1 over 4.